Thank you, everybody. This is the Sobre Boys, Walifatsi from the Big R. As you know that the Big R, we are talking about all the positive R words as our principles, like reading, research, responsibility, resilience, results, and so on, relationship, and so on. So it's very, very important. Now, in this segment, we want to reflect and review some of the people who have done extremely well, and I'm sure they're still looking forward to look further than where they are now, because in life you cannot just be in one particular position. That is why we have review and reflect. You need to look forward and start building the wealth for the generation, not you now, but the coming generation. I've known Coach Khabo Zondo for many years now. I'm one person who likes doing observations. My coach, I'm welcoming you to our Big R Solution YouTube channel. And then I'm very honored to be graced by you. But as always, whenever we invite you, you're always available for us. I really appreciate it. How are you, my coach?
Morning, Sobri. It's a Saturday morning. When I got your call, I said, wow, a long-time friend of mine.
Yes, yes.
You always, pester me with this interview and all that, and quite a number of things that we do together. But look, you are also important to my life, and making people aware of what I do and where I am. I've been in the football space for quite some time, and one will say I'm okay, though not 100% okay. With regard to that, I'm not completely where I'm supposed to be, but one will say is fine. I'm okay because I'm living, and I'm able to bring up my kids.
That's nice.
And I'm happy. I'm happy as a person, but I'll be more happy if I do get something to do in football.
My coach, you ask Bill Gates today, we are told that he's the richest man in the world today, or Jeff Bezos, and they'll tell you that it's not enough. In life, there is nothing like enough. And I always say to people, we live once, we'll never come back. And the most important thing is to leave a mark. Now, let me tell you the observation that I've made myself. I look at coaches, all various coaches. I know that you coach Golden Arrows. In fact, you started at Tembisa Classic. But prior to that, you'll tell us where you started, because I knew you during the time of Tembisa Classic. And then you went to Golden Arrows. Going to Golden Arrows, it brings good memories. Maybe if I may share a little bit with our viewers. And then I went to Ulundi. And then I flew, and then I was asking the guys, I was supposed to go and meet the people in the Department of Education. I was assisting a friend of mine who's got an university in Joburg to create some relationship with some of the important institutions. So, and then I asked, the people said, no, if you want to go to Lundi, because I didn't know where Lundi was. And then they said to me, no, don't worry. Just fly to Durban. Then from Durban, you drive. Yo, coach, I got shock of my life. Then when I landed in Durban, I drove you. I drove something like 250 kilometers to Ulundi. And then I had a meeting, then I came back. When I came back, I was supposed to catch a flight, and I didn't have money, all right? And when I came back, and then I went to the airport, but my flight had left. And there was no flight. It was in December. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know anyone in Durban. Well, I do have relatives, but sometimes you don't even keep in touch with your relatives. I didn't know anyone. I just went to my phone, and then I saw your name. I said, nah, man, let me contact Coach Zondo. Then I phoned, I said, Coach, hey man, I'm stuck here at the airport. I don't have a place to sleep. Could you kindly come and assist me? And then I'll sort you up when I land in Joburg. And guess what? You came. If I'm not mistaken, you came with Mangoba meeting, isn't it?
Yes.
And then you guys came, you know, you had organized the hotel. I went there, I sleep. The following morning, I flew back to Joburg, and the rest is history. So I just want to give people that picture that our relationship, it's not just a relationship. And yes, we were talking to each other, but it was for the first time for me to ask you to assist me. You know, I didn't know how are you going to respond. Can you just add a little bit? Because I want you to relax. I want us to be social in this so that people understand other things.
Be ourselves.
Yeah. So I don't know whether you want to say something.
Sobri, let me say thank you very much for acknowledging the little that one has done to, you know, to my brother. You are my brother.
Yeah.
You are part of my family. That's how I see people, and being not the first one, you know, having been helped. I've been helped myself before by others, people like Abo Jasmine. You know, I've got the big brothers here who are not my blood brothers, but that they've helped me to be where I am. People like there's a guy called Dos Mema, who I think took my life to, you know, to football. And Bafana Bafana, who shaped my life in football in terms of discipline and how you know, the game itself is being administered. Yeah, I'm very much humbled by the statement that you've given already about myself. There was no way, Sobri, with the little that I have, I would have wished that you don't get a place to sleep, you know, not wanting to help when I know you. I mean, from time to time, you get these street kids, you give 50 cents there, 1 rand there, and all that. I'm not saying you're a street kid, but yeah, and you know, you help wherever you can, and you're not doing that just because you expect something to come back on you. You're doing it from you know, from the humbleness and the heart of wanting to help someone. I'm very much humbled by what you're saying. Yes, we had to do it. We came with them at Nova meeting because we were together at that time. We said, hey man, let's drive to the airport, try and help my brother here. And little did he know what is it that we did. And he also saw the other part of me. Mangoba say, hey man, how can you book the hotel for, you know what, where else can you use this money? If you do have the little, where else can you use it? I mean, you do good to people, they'll do good to you. And yeah, so the rest is history. That's why today we are good to one another. And if you remember very well, I never asked for that money. You wanted to pay it back. I said, no. One day the rain will come for me and you'll give me cover. And today we're still together. And that's my attitude. I don't need to be rich to, you know, to be seen to be helping. I know the coaches that I've helped, that never had money to do courses, you know, people like the former goalkeeper, Swallows of those days, where I forced him to take a coaching course, you know. Yeah, it's because of wanting people to achieve whatever they want to achieve in life. You're like, you know, people that we pushed to, to put themselves where they're supposed to be, because this is football. Even Mangoba himself, I remember when I said to him, you must equip yourself and be ready, because I might not be here forever. You know that coaches, they come in and go, whether they are being fired or they see other new challenges somewhere and they need to go, you must be ready. And when he said, coach, but I'm not ready, and said, you'll be ready. We'll put you in the port, you'll be ready. That's the attitude. And I'm happy for him today that he's coaching the big team in the country, Mamelodi Sundowns. But coming to my life, Brother Sobri, I was brought up by a family, Christians. Umkhulu wami owangikhulisa is Bogumfundis. I lived with him for quite a long time until 1975 when he passed on, and ugogo and I passed on 1984. And yeah, my mom and dad have always been very, very disciplined type of people, wanting the best for their kids. And yeah, they also listened to their parents, because I was watching. I said, I mean, in Zelela, and what else would I do if I don't follow? All of us, we're more or less the same in terms of how we do things and how we perceive people out there. The willingness to help. My mom, for instance, I know that she has helped quite a number of people. At times, when I hear the things that my parents have done for other people that they never told us, because they are not these kind of people that brag about what they do. And there are doctors out there, there are people with certificates today because of their contribution. And yeah, that has been my attitude. I grew up in Thokoza, born there, and my football life has been with a club called Benfica, Thokoza Benfica, who are now defunct. They sold me out. Let me tell you this story, yes. Bro Sobri. Yes. Out of all the stars that were there in the team, I was not one of the brightest player or one of the most talented. This glamorous player that you talk about, like about Dr. Kumal and all that. Yeah. I was not that kind of a player. I was a disciplined player, coming on to training on time, being able to play the match from start to finish with the same energy. And, commitment was there. This is where I met this Josie Mema, who then decided when he sold the team that the only player that I can sell here is this one, Khabo Zondo. He sold me to a club called Thokoza Mighty Greens. Team full of stars, and they wanted my services. And I didn't know why he wanted to sell me, because we had stars in the team, but they were not disciplined as I was. And Mighty Greens was more interested in me than any other player. And he saw me for one reason, for him to be able to say, thank you very much for what you did to the club. He bought me soccer boots with that whole money. I was sold for 2,000 rands then, which was big money.
Huge money.
Yeah, big money in the 2000s. And he bought me soccer boots, bought me some shin pads, some tracksuits to say, well done, boy. Go and show the world what is it that you're capable of doing. And in the same team that was sold, I was given an opportunity there also to train, you know, because I think I was the youngest, if I'm not mistaken. I was the youngest in the group, around about 2021. And I was given the opportunity to train, not to coach, to train. Because Joe's mem, I don't know how did you see it, you saw some leadership qualities in me. And I was able to train that team for about 4 to 5 months before the team was sold. And that's where this mentality of leading, because I know even at school, I was a captain of softball. In Pietermaritzburg, I was also a captain of a soccer team there, in the school. So everywhere I went, this position of leading came in on its own without me asking for it. The way I respected people and those who are older, those who are younger than me. But I must say, also the other part of me was a very rough person. Very rough. Impi bengithanda manje. La kunempi khona uyangithola.
But with your body, with your stature of your body, of course.
And then you'll be surprised. I was not this size. I got this size later in my age. But I was a fit young man, but very strong, of course, but not that big, not this size that says the man is now doing nothing. He's just eating and going to sleep and train whenever he wants to. I used to train in the morning, midday, in the afternoon. In the morning I would train on my own. In the midday around 1, train on my own. And in the afternoon I train with the team. I knew I was fit. I know that it was a difficult thing to do, but we call that fitness. Today it is done differently. The principles are different. The methods are different. It's not easy to go through the same program today. They will train. They will tell you that you are overtraining, which then becomes detraining. You're losing the fitness that you need in the game because you're exhausting the energy. I used to train even a day before the game. I used to train even on the day of the game in the morning. Have a jog of about 5 kilometers. Come back. You're okay. You prepare yourself to go and play. And you find nothing wrong with it. Today, they will tell you can't do that. You have to do it at a certain level for you to be ready because the energy that you are exhausting, it's needed to be utilized in the game. Yeah, I played for a team that was a very, very classic team, which is Mighty Prince, who, the team that I left to join team called Foslo United in Fosloras. It was Foslo United, then it later became Stallions. The club then belonged to the late Mr. Make and Darius Mlukumi. I played for a year and then I retired. I remember it was 1986, early 1986 when I retired, because that year I already had three daughters.
Yeah.
I already had 3 daughters, and one had taken a decision to get married. Got married in 1986. I'm blessed with 7 daughters. My coaching career started again here just after my retirement. It was 1987. There was a team called Thokoza Sporting Spades. I say, in my entire coaching career, I've never seen a team that had so many gifted players like that one. That's a team that put me in a map, to be honest. That's a team that made me to understand football and have this hunger for coaching. The kids came here, we already had business, Ekaya, which I built with my own hands. My brother was there, my dad was, it was the three of us that built this business where I am at the moment. Building a supermarket and a butchery. And of course, taking the idea of lapha Tembisa, mama bathi Mnaledi.
Yeah.
The late Mnaledi.
I'll tell you what I want us to do, my coach.
Yeah.
It looks like our story is going to be long. We'll have part 1 and part 2. I'm happy to give that kind of background of which people don't have.
Yes.
Especially during the where one comes from. Now, before you go further, I just want to touch on something that you touched on, the issue of leadership.
Yes.
Leadership and discipline. Those are key components.
Yes.
Now, leadership, for that matter, I'll tell you why I want to talk about that one. A leader has certain traits. You have mentioned that you train, before others, which is initiative, which is hard work. Those are the components of really wanting a leader. You have mentioned that you want to be there because you want to defend. That's a leader. Now, with me, my experience of you as a leader, it's around issue of diplomacy. When you are a leader, if you are not diplomatic, you are not going to make it. Now, I've seen all the coaches. I'm going to make a short analysis of the few coaches. People don't understand Pito. I understand him very well. I've never met him. I met him once. I interviewed him once at Voice of Tembisa. And I'm still looking forward to interview him. Yeah? People don't understand him. What I see in Peter is a guy who's honest. If I'm angry, we must see it now. If I'm not angry, he's not a pretender. So it's like, the boors. The boors will tell you that we don't want you or we want you. You rather deal with such a person. So hence, I understand. And then a person like Jomo Sono as a coach, he just shoots from the hip. That is his style, part of personality. And then I've been following you. I've seen you being very diplomatic. I've never seen a coach that is diplomatic as you. I might not have told you, but I'm telling you now. They would interview. Remember, as us, as fans, as we are watching, some of the fans we analyze. You use this diplomacy very well. And I won't be shocked if you say you never had enemies in football cycles. Because you are very diplomatic. You would put your point, but at the same time, acknowledging the counterpart with his strength, but at the same time, not compromising your principle. I've never seen any coach doing that. It's either they defend themselves or they want to be aggressive, talk bad about the other coach. So that's what I've seen in you. When you talk about leadership, I can understand it very well because you are very diplomatic in your approach in doing things. So that sets you apart. Probably during those early years, they could notice that. I don't know whether you want to say something about that.
Hey, so you got me. You got me, and maybe one other person that you must also think of, it's Steve Kompela.
Yeah, yeah.
When he says every time before you respond to any question or being in any interview, you must be very careful on what you say. What will it do to another person, and also being able to send a message clear on, you know, to me it was the ethics. The ethics in football, we fight one for 90 minutes. After 90 minutes, the one that has won must be congratulated. The one that has lost is tough luck. And there's always a say about the referees when he's in his final and binding. And knowing that no matter what you can say, there's nothing that you can change in that game to the results of the game or to what the referee shall have done. So you understood that, and also wanted to make sure that after the game we were friends. During the game, we were fighting for 2 points then, and whoever gets it because of his intelligence or his ability or the strength of his players or what that he has done in for such match, we say congratulations to that person. And this has been my attitude. You know, a person like Peter, I know that people don't understand Peter. I'm not saying I do understand him, but the way I view him, you think Peter is a bad person. He's not a bad person. He says what he wants to say, and that's how he understands things. The style of movement doesn't mean he's a bad person. Look at the results that he has got with his so sad attitude that other people don't understand. He's achieved quite a lot, better than any other coach. I mean, I coached before Peter started coaching. I remember when I said to him, he was an assistant then, him and the late Tommy Madikake, they were assistant to Bruce Grobler. I said, you guys are sitting there, you don't want to lead, why? And he said to me, hey, coach, I mean, I'm not ready. We are not ready. I said, you'll never be ready until you are there. The taste of the pudding is in the eating, bro. Be there, feel the heat. I did the same to Steve Kompela when he was an assistant to, he was still an assistant to Kaiser Chiefs. I can't remember the coach, the one that took out the machine. I said, it's time for you to lead. And there was a team that had no coach then at that time, which I pushed him to go and challenge himself in that position. It was Manning Rangers, I remember. Even when he left Manning Rangers, he came to me to say, hey, there's a position again in Dynamos, in Kiani. He said, if it's time to move on, because that's the life of a coach. Look at where I am. I was with Tembisa Classic, I'm with Golden Arrows, and we communicated quite a lot. Him, Domosono, not that much with Peter, but we did communicate the way we could, maybe before the game. Hey, Lana, we are Ranjan, Lana, we are Ranjan, and all that. We're all different, Mourinho calls a spade a spade. Pep Guardiola is a different coach, he's humble. He does his job quietly, and even when he handles his interviews, he's respecting the people that are there. But that doesn't mean you can't see the bad side of him, or the other side of him when he's angry. It doesn't mean what I see, for instance, with Peter, he doesn't like losing. He doesn't appreciate losing. even myself, I don't appreciate losing. I fight with myself, even after I'm saying, what else can we do, you know, to improve on this performance that we have. But you can do that without, you know, being a loud mouth or being saying anything to, you know, to the public. Other people will do it and feel comfortable with it, and it's all about the understanding. Like you have said, you understand what other coaches are doing and their approach in terms of handling interviews. I mean, I've been with Pito in co-coaching Bafana Bafana then when we went to Zambia and we beat Zambia 1-0. You could see what type of a person he is. Very hardworking person. I went there being, in terms of experience, being more experienced than him, but I gave him the position to lead. He said, Peter, I know that we are both coaches. We are both given the same position, but we can't both lead. Lead, I'll support you. Lead, I'll support you. And that's how we work. And we succeeded beating the very strong Zambians in Zambia. And we played in Namibia again. I think we played the last game. It was before Kapera came in. It was, we were playing this Mandela Cup against Egypt in England. If you have not been near a person like Peter, for instance, you will not understand the type of a person. He put a lot into the game. He knows what he wants. And if he doesn't succeed, you will see this type of a person that is fighting and, you know, wanting things to happen his way and all that. But that's the kind of a person he is, and that's the kind of a person I am. Whether I've won or I've lost, the attitude is the same. I still need to give people the insight of the game, of what happened, whether you take it as diplomacy, but to me, that's my approach. Yeah. Not just because I wanted to be accepted as a coach, you know, in the public, but it's my approach. That's how I do things. And you stay on discipline, focus, hard work, all those things. You know, they all come in one bucket. As to how you come out, you know, in the public, I don't think it's for you to decide or to say this is the kind of a person that I am. People will make a judgment on that.
My coach, you know, I'm a bit disappointed. Our line is not well. I think it's network. You know, if there was some effect on the electricity or whatever, the internet will have a problem. Our internet is not as good as I think we keep on breaking, but nevertheless we'll soldier on. Like you indicated that you'll be running to Hammanskraal, and then I don't want to detain for too long. I want to break this interview into piecemeal because there is a lot that needs to be told. You know, history is important. Remember the big R, it's all the positive R words. One of those positive R words is reflect and review. How does one succeed, whether as a coach or as a business person, is to look back. How did I do this? How did it go? Did I do well or bad? If I've done bad, where can I improve? If I've done well, how can I strengthen and stick to the winning formula? So this is what we are doing. Now, I'm sure young, ambitious coaches who wants to learn about coaching, they will tap into this brain or the history that you are articulating. You see, sometimes people argue and say Black people don't know themselves because we're not documenting our history. Now we are trying to reverse that and start documenting everything that we did. Like I indicated earlier on that we live once. You'll never come back. Your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren, they may want to know Go to YouTube. Let's hear what the granddad was saying about this particular subject. This is very important. So hence I'm saying, if we got cut, don't get worried. We'll plan another day and then continue because there's still a lot to talk about. You also mentioned discipline, one very important subject. Now, the big R deals about money. If you look at what we are doing, we are dealing with debt counseling, people who want to come out of debt. We are doing financial services. I know that the Zondo brothers also are doing financial services. We are teaching about finance. And then, you know, that's what we are doing. We are writing books on finance. Now, all this boils down to one thing: discipline. Discipline. If you are not disciplined, you'll never win. I've just spoken about history now. You know, if you want to win war, you start with discipline. If you are not disciplined, if you remember the story of Shaka Zulu, you will be hard on discipline to say, I want soldiers to be disciplined. That is why he was saying, guys, you must carry the short spear. I don't want you to run away. I don't want you to be stabbed facing backwards. Remember, with Shaka, if you came with a wound at the back, he would kill you, because it was displaying the fact that you were running away. That's lack of discipline. So what you are saying, it's a cornerstone. That's what brings success in any department, whether it's finance or anything, discipline. So I really get you. I don't know whether you want to add on the subject of discipline. I was just adding on what you said to augment or to elaborate on the issue why you were a leader all along.
Yeah, you know, but Sobri, you have touched a very, very important aspect of life. Money and a human being. You know, money today or at any time in life can either make you or destroy you. It depends on how you perceive it. A club like Khabonina Classic, when we talk about discipline, I led that club through one aspect: hard work and discipline. Only. They were not used to training twice a day. I pushed them to do that. And for them to go and play a match having trained so hard and not wanting to see the output, because there's been an input, let's see the output. That's why clubs like Khabo Swallows, then they got 5 from these boys, because it was more like, whilst you've got this anger of having trained so hard, you are used to it now, but you also want people to see what is it that you do in training. Those boys will run 120 minutes with any team. I was not scared of any team, even the most talented teams like Kaizer Chiefs, your Pirates, your teams like Khabo Sundowns. I was not scared of such teams, because I knew what we have done there. It was hard work done through discipline. You know, when you go to a club that has got no resources, and yourself as a coach want to achieve something out of this club, you do everything. You teach them how to look after their money, how to look after themselves. I remember a player like Atas Wande. No one wanted Atas Wande anywhere, not even the Orlando Pirates of this world, where he came from. But we had to give him an opportunity coming from a team from a Moelering Real Rovers. We took him. Arthur wanted to be, because you're always, wherever you go, you'll always be given that picture that he is not disciplined and all that. He's talented, but he's not disciplined. And that gave me an idea of how to handle Arthur. Arthur stayed as my kid. I used to have Arthur for the whole day with me. The whole day. I had no other life without Arthur being next to me. When training ends, is in my car, we go. You know how difficult it is, because then later players will see you as having some kind of favoritism towards this player, but you wanted to help the player. And Arthur was performing. Come end of the season, Kaizer Chiefs was looking for him. He was still an Orlando Pirates player then, because he was on loan from Orlando Pirates to Real Rovers to us as well. But he came out to have adapted to a new life of a disciplined life. Because this is what we have instilled to this particular player. Remember when I said, discipline, from my grandfather, my father, my mom, my brother Philip, whom I'm running this business with, ZBF. Because we grew up in a business environment, we knew that business can only succeed, the business can only be okay. Let me not say succeed. Business can only be okay if you have these aspects of it. You're disciplined, you're focused, you're honest, you're being realistic with your goals. You can't put goals of being a billionaire and you look at okay, you set your goals high, but be realistic. Can I achieve this? That's the diplomacy that you spoke about.
Yeah.
But and anything is achievable in life, but there is no way you can look after money if you're not disciplined. You know that, go to savings. Your other overheads should then be looked after by the other percentage. You sleep on time, you go to bed on time, you know you're a player. You have to use this body fully, for the entire duration of your football life. So we have to look after it. That's a discipline that we talk about. And yeah, money is dangerous. There are so many players that have gone, fallen the wrong side of it. Others are coming back because of the experiences that they had, because Abanye is because of they never had a proper upbringing from their environment or their parents. Abanye, they don't have parents. Football life will teach you so many things, because they come to you with one aspect, with talent, and in that talent they're looking for money. They're looking for money to do what? I ask them every day, what are you going to do with the money? When Classic didn't have enough money, they never had sponsors until I left. Most of the time I'll take half of my salary. Say, this is what you're playing for today. Remember at that time, if you play for incentives, or 250 rands, I could put that, say, this is what you're playing for, 250 rands per player. If you win the game, they appreciated it because I wanted them to be focused. Yeah. Then I would ask them, what did you do with the money? And you will see that. And now be honest, we are friends, we are brothers here, we are friends. Be honest so that you can help one another. So if you're open and you're honest, discipline comes easy because you can get help. But if you're not honest to yourself, you are sick, you know that you're supposed to go to the doctor, but you don't know to be open about it, to get help, you'll die. You'll die, for sure. And this game is like that. If you're not honest to it, We'll see you today. You shine 1 year. The next year you're gone. We can't see you. Atas one lasted more than 10 years in Kaizer Chiefs. I'm happy. I should be singing the same again with Utumelo Mfukeng, who was one of the most talented players that year. The energy levels. I remember, if I can tell you about this, and apparently this boy is a teacher.
Yeah, no, I taught him.
When he was not performing, yeah, and when he was not doing well, I looked at the things that he's able to do. I said, in terms of punctuality, he's there. He's the first one to be in, he's the last one to go out in training. But performance was not coming. I said, I rested him for the whole week, but wanting him to come and play. I said, be disciplined, be at home, nothing, you do nothing. Just be at home. I don't want to hear that, because you like training. I don't want to hear that you've been running or whatever. Just be home, relax, maybe you've used a lot of energy. Remember, at that time, we were not that much educated in terms of how the players are supposed to be trained. You were a coach, I was an assistant coach, I was a goalkeeper coach, I was a fitness trainer. You know, you analyze the opponents. All these things come to you. Today, coaches have supporting staff of such. Mr. So-and-so is looking after the video analysis. You've got 2 assistant coaches or 3 assistant coaches, and you also have to have this balance of, you know, the harmony must be there. Make everyone understand his role in his position, and there must be this kind of freedom for us to be able to do our work and succeed, because we all want success. That's why you find a person like Peter today, he's where he is, because the harmony that he had with his technical team, because he has said it, he can't do it alone, he will do it with others. And this game has got to that level. When we coach Colin Arrows and Teams Classic, I was the only coach and being assisted by the director. You know, the director comes in, whenever, but all the time it's yourself. You know, players seeing you every day. And at times they get tired of seeing you, but you have to come up with things that will make them enjoy being with you, appreciate you being there. Though they are seeing you twice a day, 7 days a week, the whole month, you know, you're always with them because you want them to do well, and you also being overprotective, not wanting them to go, to the wrong side of things, and make sure that they do succeed. But they've touched the most important thing: money. Ngibiza ukuthi imali uSatani. Mawuphethe 2,000 rands today, if ungazi ukuthi uzenzani, take it to the bank. Take it to the bank. There are days where you'll need it. I mean, here we're in a funeral industry business, also being in a financial service provider. You see families coming here with nothing in hand. You see families coming here with nothing in hand when you know that some of them in the same family, they are working. Where they can be disciplined and put something aside for times like those. But come the weekend, abantu baphuza utshwala be 3,000 rands in one day. You give me that money, I'm telling you, I'll put it away. Put it away. Why buy a car, sobering? Why buy a car that you will pay 25,000 rands a month and you're earning 35,000 rands? Why do that? Why do that to yourself?
It's a mismatch. It's a mismatch. My coach,
honestly, is it a need or a want? If it's a need for you to do what? To go to training and buy a car that that suits your needs, that also says you'll be able to pay off. Not to want to shine when our driver a Range Rover or drive a paint or a Mercedes. You don't have the money to look after those cars.
Mm. My coach.
There's insurance. There's everything in it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm being let down by this internet, and then the results. I think it disrespect our viewers if it keeps on cutting, because they'll end up losing some interest. I'm gonna try that we cut this discussion here, and then we'll arrange another date. We'll continue where we left off, because I believe that we are right at the beginning. So there's a lot to talk about. We are talking about the funeral parlor. You're talking about the business, the butcher, and the supermarket. There's quite a lot that we need to educate our people and tell them this is where Khabo Zondo is doing. And as you touch on Arthur Zwane, you are the person who introduced me to Arthur Zwane, and we became very close. And let me tell you, when I met Arthur, he was not as ill-disciplined as probably when you met him. He was one of the most disciplined young men. We would talk, myself and Arthur. You would come to my house here and then sit down and chat. I think I'll ask you the numbers from you. I don't know if he has changed the numbers, so that I still make a follow-up. I hope he's still doing well. There's quite a number of things that we need to talk about, Coach. But because of this thing cutting and so on, I know that you are busy, but we'll make a plan. This one will be part one, and then next time we'll do part two until we'll cover the story that I want you to cover, because we haven't touched a lot. Because I want to know, how did you go to Tembisa Classic? How did you end up at Golden Arrows? How did you go to Bafana Bafana? You know, all those things. The experience that you had outside, you know, and then you're talking about money. Money is important. Like I'm saying, apart from that counseling that we have, we also have what you call membership. But I normally talk to a number of radio stations, and after talking to radio stations, people will call and say, "Hey man, can you give me an advice how to do a budget?" I said, "No, a budget it's easy to do it. What is lacking is the discipline." So we started what we call a support group, just to support them. And then we call them once, we call them twice a month for 30 minutes, just discussing their budget. That's a support group. So there are a number of things that we'll talk about, and then, but now this thing is letting us down. But I think next time we'll be more organized, and I hope we won't have a problem in terms of internet, and then we'll have a smooth sailing interview. And I know that you are rushing somewhere. So in your closing remarks for this part, I would allow you to say whatever that you want to say, and then me and you will talk and see when can we reschedule another one.
Let me put it like this. It's very, very important that we have this platform where, you know, through our experiences, we are able to lead you know, the upcoming youngsters, whether from playing football or being wanting to be a leader or a coach, you know, for any reason. It's very, very important to have this platform that we have. And I must applaud you for being constantly in a push to want to teach, to let people, wanting to, you know, to let people know what is it that can be done correctly out there. I must say, you know, obviously the network is not helping.
I see that we have a long break. I don't know what happened. But like I indicated, we have an issue of network, and then I'm sure it will be sorted out. And then next time when I have Coach Khabo Zondo, we'll talk more. You know, he gave us a whole lot of information. You know, Coach Khabo Zondo has a wealth of experience. Some of you might know that as I speak, he is also involved with the NetBank selection of squad nationally, with people like Dr. Kumalo, people like Jerry Kosan, and so on. So there is quite a lot to learn from there. So I thank you for joining us. And then I hope we are not going to have a problem going forward. I thank you.